Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today into something I think we all struggle with from time to time,
Hmm.
toxic cycles.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
going to figure out what they are,
Definitely.
how to spot them in our own lives, and really the most important part, how to break free.
Yeah.
And our guide for this journey is a popular video/guide that you guys share with us
Right?
called Breaking Toxic Cycles, Elevate Your Life. It promises to be really practical.
Absolutely.
So let's see what it's all about.
I'm excited to dig into this. It's really fascinating
Yeah.
how often we kind of get stuck in these negative patterns
Uh-huh.
without even realizing it.
Right. It's like being in a rut, but for your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the video breaks these cycles down into a few main types: relationships,
Right.
negative self-talk, and those pesky habits.
Absolutely.
Can you give us an example of what each of those might look like in real life for people?
Absolutely. So let's take relationships, for example.
Mhm.
Think about those frustrating patterns where you keep dating people
Oh, yeah.
with the same red flags.
Hmm.
The ones who are emotionally unavailable or maybe constantly need to be the center of attention.
Right.
And it's like you're subconsciously drawn to that same dynamic over and over again.
Oh, I think we've all been there.
I think so too.
And it can be so hard to break free, even when you know it's not good for you.
It really is.
Okay, so then there's the negative self-talk,
Yeah.
that inner critic that just won't quit.
It never stops.
It whispers those things, like, you're not good enough, you'll never succeed, or you're just going to mess this up.
Yeah. Or who do you think you are?
Oh, yeah, that one. It's having this constant stream of negativity,
Right.
just playing in your head on a loop.
On a loop. Yeah.
Ugh, tell me about it. Sometimes it feels like that voice is just stuck on repeat.
Right.
What about the habit side of things?
Yeah. So think about procrastinating on a big project, even though you know you should get started.
Oh. Or maybe stress eating an entire bag of chips when you're feeling overwhelmed.
Yep. Been there.
These habits, just like toxic relationships, often stem from deeper psychological patterns.
Okay. I'm already starting to connect some dots here.
Mm.
But it seems kind of strange that our brains would cling to these things,
Right.
even when they're clearly not good for us.
Yeah.
What is the psychology behind that?
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting. So one major factor is our need for comfort zones.
Uh-huh.
Even if a situation is making us unhappy,
Mm-hmm.
it can still feel safer than the unknown. Change can be scary.
Right.
Our brains are wired to prioritize safety and predictability.
So it's almost like we'd rather stick with the devil we know,
Yeah.
even if it's closing us pain.
Exactly. And then there's this concept of learned behavior, which plays a huge role. A lot of our patterns, both the good and the bad ones,
Okay.
are actually formed way back in childhood.
Oh, wow.
We observe how our parents or caregivers handle stress.
Right. Conflict, emotions, and we unconsciously adopt those same patterns as our own.
So even if we didn't have the healthiest role models,
Yeah.
growing up, those early experiences can really shape our adult lives.
They really do.
It's almost like we're on autopilot,
Yeah.
replaying those old tapes
Right.
without even realizing it.
Without even knowing. And then there's the factor of unresolved trauma, which can be a bit more complex.
Okay.
Past experiences, especially those that were particularly painful or overwhelming, can leave deep imprints on our subconscious.
Hmm.
And this can lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms and,
Yeah. Right.
self-sabotaging behaviors
Sure.
as we try to protect ourselves from further hurt.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. So it's not just about willpower or snapping out of it,
Yeah.
There are deeper psychological forces
Yeah, it's so much more than that.
at play here.
Well,
Which makes me wonder, how do we even begin to spot these cycles in our own lives? I mean, they're so ingrained, it's hard to see the forest for the trees.
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's where this video/guide shines.
Okay.
It offers 3 questions to ask yourself.
Okay.
And I think they're brilliant starting points for self-discovery.
Okay. All ears, lay them on me. What is the first question?
The first question is, what situations or feelings keep repeating in your life?
Okay.
This might seem simple, but it's crucial to identify the actual patterns.
Okay.
And the key here is to be specific. Don't just say, I always feel stressed, right?
Right.
Think about concrete examples. Maybe it's those Sunday night arguments or feeling anxious
Oh, yeah.
before presentations at work.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So once we've pinpointed those recurring patterns, what's the next step?
The next question to ask yourself is, what triggers these patterns?
Okay.
Is it certain people, stressful situations, or even specific times of a year? Think about those common stressors, like
Mm.
deadlines, holidays, family gatherings.
Oh, yeah.
Are there any consistent themes that emerge when you look at what sets off these cycles?
Got it.
Hmm.
So we are identifying the patterns, figuring out the triggers.
Yeah.
What is the final question we need to ask ourselves?
This one is a bit deeper. What is this cycle costing you?
Okay.
And I mean that in a very real, tangible way. Is it affecting your relationships, your emotional well-being?
Right?
Is it holding you back from achieving your goals?
Sure.
This is where we start to see the true impact
Right.
these cycles are having on our lives. And that can be incredibly motivating for change.
Wow, that's powerful. It's one thing to know there's a problem, but it's another to really feel the weight of it
Right.
in your life.
Yeah,
Okay, so we've done some serious introspection here.
I like it.
We've identified our patterns, figured out our triggers, and recognized the cost of staying stuck. Now, for the million-dollar question, how do we actually break free?
Right. Well, for starters, you'll likely notice a significant improvement in your relationships.
Oh, interesting. So, because when we're not bringing that baggage,
Right.
into every interaction, we're able to connect with people on a deeper, more authentic level.
Absolutely. Think about it this way. When you're constantly on edge, worried about being hurt or abandoned,
Right.
you're not really showing up as your true self. You're guarded. You're defensive.
Uh-huh.
And it creates distance in your relationships.
And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy almost, right?
Right.
You're so afraid of being let down
Right.
that you end up pushing people away
Exactly.
without even realizing it.
Exactly. But when you start healing those inner wounds,
Okay.
you're able to let your guard down a bit. You can be more vulnerable,
Uh-huh.
more open, and that allows for true intimacy and connection.
That makes so much sense. It's like you're finally able to create that safe space within yourself,
Yes.
which then allows you to create safe spaces in your relationships.
Exactly. And as you break free from these cycles, you'll also likely experience
Yeah,
a surge in confidence.
because you're proving to yourself that you can change,
Yes.
that you're not bound by those old patterns.
You got it. It's like breaking free from those invisible chains
Right.
that have been holding you back.
Mhm.
And that newfound freedom is incredibly empowering.
Totally.
You start to trust yourself more. You believe in your abilities and you're willing to take more risks.
And that can spill over into every area of your life.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you're not just going after those healthier relationships, you're going after your dreams,
Right.
your goals, the things that truly light you up.
Absolutely. When we're not constantly battling those inner demons, we have so much more energy and focus
Yeah.
to devote to things that actually matter to us, whether it's our creative pursuits,
Mhm.
our careers, our families, whatever it is that brings us joy and fulfillment.
Okay, so breaking these cycles leads to healthier relationships, increased confidence, and more energy for the things we actually care about.
Yeah.
It's like a domino effect
Yeah.
of positive change.
That's a great way to put it. And I think one of the most fascinating aspects of this process is how it can impact
Oh, interesting.
our decision making.
Oh, tell me more about that. I'm intrigued.
Well, when we're stuck in those negative patterns, our judgment can get clouded.
Yeah.
We tend to make decisions based on fear, scarcity,
Right.
or a sense of obligation rather than what truly aligns with our hearts.
Right, because we're so focused on avoiding pain or trying to please others
Yes.
or proving ourselves worthy that we lose sight of what we actually want.
Exactly. But as we break free from those cycles, our perspective starts to shift.
Okay.
We can step back from those ingrained patterns and we can see things more clearly.
Our intuition becomes stronger.
Yes.
We can listen to that inner voice that's been trying to guide us all along.
You got it. We become more attuned to our values, our needs, and our own unique path.
Uh-huh.
And that allows us to make decisions from a place of empowerment and authenticity.
And that can make such a huge difference in every area of our lives,
It really can.
from our careers to our relationships
Yeah,
to our overall sense of purpose.
absolutely. One of the most striking examples of this that I've seen in my own work is how breaking these cycles can unlock creativity.
Oh, that's fascinating. Tell me more about that connection.
When we're caught in those negative patterns, it's like our creative energy gets stifled.
Uh-huh.
Our minds are cluttered with those negative thoughts,
Yeah.
self-doubt and worries. And it's hard to access that wellspring of inspiration
Right.
when you're constantly fighting those inner battles.
Right, because creativity requires space.
Yes.
Space to think,
Yes.
space to explore, to play, to
Uh.
make mistakes. And those toxic cycles take up so much space.
Yes.
It's like they're suffocating that creative spark.
Exactly. But when we start to break free, it's like a dam has been broken.
Wow.
that creative energy starts to flow more freely.
I love that.
And it can express itself in all sorts of ways. Maybe you start writing poetry or painting,
Oh, wow.
or you start coming up with innovative ideas at work.
Or maybe you just start approaching life with a more playful, curious, open-minded attitude.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about this process.
Yeah.
It's not just about eliminating the negative.
Right.
It's about opening ourselves up to new possibilities, new experiences, and a deeper connection to our own unique creative potential.
I love that. And it makes me wonder, as we're going through this process of breaking free, are there any tools or resources
No, yeah.
that you think are particularly helpful?
You know, one of the most valuable things you can have on this journey is a supportive environment.
Okay.
Surround yourself with people who believe in you,
Yeah.
encourage you, and hold space for you to be vulnerable and authentic.
That's so important because it can be a messy process,
Yeah,
right? There are going to be ups and downs, moments of doubt,
yeah,
times when you want to give up.
totally.
And that's when having a strong support system can make all the difference.
It really does.
Whether it's a therapist, a coach, a mentor, a support group, or just a close circle of friends and family, those connections can provide that sense of belonging
Yes,
and encouragement that we all need to keep going.
we really do. And I think the other side of that coin is learning to be a source of support for others.
Well, that's interesting.
When we share our stories,
Yeah.
our struggles and our triumphs, we create a sense of community and connection that can be incredibly healing.
It's like that saying, a burden shared is a burden halved.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, joy shared is joy multiplied.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're all in this together.
Yeah.
And the more we can support each other on this journey, the
Yeah.
stronger we all become.
You know, one of the things that's really resonating with me from this conversation is this idea that breaking these cycles isn't like a one-time event.
Right.
It's an ongoing process.
Oh, absolutely. It's a journey, not a destination.
And that could be both daunting and liberating
Right.
because it means we're always evolving, always growing, always learning.
Absolutely. And I think the key to navigating this journey with grace is to cultivate a sense of curiosity
Oh, like
and compassion.
Uh-huh.
Curiosity about ourselves,
Yeah.
about our patterns,
Wow.
about the world around us, and compassion for ourselves and for others who are also on this path.
I love that. It's about embracing the messy, imperfect beauty of it all, right?
Yes.
Knowing that there will be stumbles, there will be setbacks along the way,
Totally.
but that's all part of the process.
It really is. And I think the other key ingredient is trust.
Okay.
Trust in ourselves,
Yeah.
trust in the process,
Yeah.
and trust that we have the inner strength and resilience to navigate whatever comes our way.
You know, this conversation has really inspired me to reflect on my own journey of breaking toxic cycles.
Oh, me too. It's something I'm constantly working on.
And it's such a powerful and transformative process. It's not always easy,
Yeah.
but it's definitely worth it.
It really is, because by breaking free from those limiting patterns,
Uh-huh.
we create a more expansive, joyful, and fulfilling experience
Yeah.
for ourselves and for everyone around us.
And that's a legacy worth leaving. What stands out to you the most from this deep dive? Is there anything that's particularly resonating with you?
You know, for me, it's that reminder that we have the power to choose.
Yeah.
We're not victims of our circumstances or our past. We can always choose to rewrite our story.
Right.
And even small, consistent actions can lead to profound shifts over time. What about you? What are your biggest takeaways?
For me, it's the realization that breaking these cycles isn't just about eliminating the negative.
Yeah.
It's about making space for the positive to flow in. It's about reclaiming our power, our joy, and our sense of possibility. And from that place of empowerment, we can truly thrive.
I love that. It's about moving from a place of scarcity to a place of abundance.
Yeah.
From a place of fear to a place of love.
Exactly. It's about recognizing our own worthiness.
Yes.
And creating a life that reflects that. You know, this conversation's got me thinking about the connection between toxic cycles and our overall well-being.
Oh, absolutely. You can't really separate the two.
Because when we're caught in those negative patterns, it takes a toll
Right.
on our mental, emotional, and even our physical health. Our energy gets depleted, our stress levels skyrocket,
Yes.
and we can start to feel disconnected from ourselves and the world around us.
It's like those cycles create a sort of energetic drain, sucking the life out of us.
Yeah.
And that's why breaking free from them can be so liberating. It's like a weight has been lifted. And we can finally breathe freely again.
And that newfound energy and vitality can then be channeled
Right.
into creating a life that feels vibrant and fulfilling. So it's not just about eliminating the negative, it's about making space for the positive to flow in.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming our power, our joy, and our sense of possibility. And then from that place of empowerment, we
Yeah.
can truly start to thrive.
This conversation has really highlighted the importance of self-care in this process.
Oh, absolutely. Self-care is not a luxury.
Yeah.
It's a necessity, especially
Yeah.
when we're working to break free from these deeply ingrained patterns.
Because it's easy to get discouraged, to feel overwhelmed, and to want to give up.
Yeah.
That's why it's so crucial to prioritize practices that nourish our minds, bodies, and spirits.
It really is.
Whether that's spending time in nature,
Yeah.
connecting with loved ones,
Mhm.
engaging in creative pursuits,
Yeah.
or simply taking a few moments to just breathe and be present.
Right.
All of those things can help us replenish our energy reserves, strengthen our resilience, and stay committed
Yeah.
to our journey of growth.
Yes.
It's about treating ourselves with the same kindness and compassion that we would offer to a dear friend,
Exactly.
and recognizing that we deserve to feel good,
Yeah.
to feel loved,
Yes.
and to live a life that feels truly aligned with our hearts.
And remember, you are worthy of a life filled with joy, peace, and authentic connection.
That's beautiful.
And remember, every small step you take is a victory.
So keep going, keep growing, and keep believing in your own incredible capacity for change. What is one small step you can take today to disrupt a toxic cycle in your life?
That's such a powerful question to reflect on. What small step can we take today to disrupt a toxic cycle? It can be so easy to think that those small steps are insignificant,
Right.
but they really can create huge ripples of change over time.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that breaking free from these cycles isn't about achieving some kind of perfect state. It's about progress,
Right.
not perfection.
Huh.
There will be ups and downs, moments of clarity, moments of confusion.
Right.
The key is to keep moving forward,
Okay.
even if it's just one tiny step at a time.
One thing that I have found really helpful in my own journey is paying attention to the language I use,
Oh, yeah.
both the way I talk to myself and the way I talk about my experiences to others.
Oh, that's such an important point. The words we use have so much power.
They can either perpetuate those negative cycles
Right.
or help us break free from them.
Exactly. For example, instead of beating myself up for a mistake, I've been trying to reframe it as a learning opportunity.
Okay.
Instead of saying, I always mess things up, I'll say, okay, I made a mistake. What can I learn from this so I can do better next time?
That's a perfect example of how a subtle shift in language can create a huge shift in mindset.
Yeah.
It's about replacing that harsh inner critic with a more compassionate and understanding voice.
And it's amazing how quickly that can start to change the way you feel about yourself and your ability to overcome challenges.
Absolutely. Another powerful tool that I often recommend to clients is visualization.
Oh, I love visualization.
Personally, yeah.
It's such a powerful way to tap into the subconscious mind
Right.
and create new neural pathways.
Exactly. And it can be especially helpful in this context because it allows you to create a mental image of yourself, breaking free from those negative patterns and living the life that you desire.
So you can literally see yourself making different choices, responding to situations in a more empowered way,
Yes.
and creating those healthy, fulfilling relationships that you've been longing for.
Precisely. And the more you practice visualizing those positive outcomes, the more you are training your brain to believe they're possible. It's like planting seeds of transformation in your subconscious mind.
And over time, those seeds can blossom into real-life changes. As we're wrapping up this deep dive, I'm feeling incredibly inspired by the realization that we are all capable of change.
I agree. No matter how deeply ingrained those toxic cycles may seem,
Yeah.
we always have the power to choose differently. And every small step we take in the direction of healing and growth is a victory worth celebrating.
Exactly. It's about honoring our own journey, embracing the messy imperfections along the way,
Yeah.
and trusting that we're exactly where we need to be.
Mm.
And speaking of honoring our journey, I think it's important to acknowledge that self-compassion
Oh, yeah.
is so crucial
Absolutely.
throughout this process.
Self-compassion is essential for breaking free from those negative patterns and creating a more loving and fulfilling life. It's so easy to get caught up in self-criticism and judgment,
Oh, yeah.
especially when we make mistakes or face setbacks.
Yeah.
But beating ourselves up only reinforces those toxic cycles.
So true. It's like we're adding fuel to the fire. So instead of dwelling on our mistakes,
Right.
we can choose to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding
Yeah.
that we would offer to a dear friend.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we're all human, we're all doing the best we can,
Uh-huh.
and we all deserve love and support, especially from ourselves.
Yeah.
And when we cultivate that inner sense of compassion,
Yeah.
it becomes easier to forgive ourselves,
Right.
learn from our experiences, and keep moving forward on our journey of growth.
As we wrap up, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, this idea that breaking toxic cycles isn't just about personal growth.
Right.
It's about creating a ripple effect of positive change in the world.
That's such an important point. It's easy to get caught up in our own individual struggles.
Right.
But when we heal ourselves, we heal our relationships.
Uh-huh.
When we raise our vibration, we raise the vibration of those around us.
It's like a domino effect.
Yes.
Of positivity and transformation.
Exactly. So by committing to our own growth and well-being,
Right.
we're not only creating a more fulfilling life for ourselves,
Uh-huh.
but we're also making the world a brighter and more loving place.
That's a powerful legacy to leave. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our deep dive into toxic cycles.
Wow.
We hope this exploration has been insightful and empowering for you.
Remember, you have the strength, the wisdom, and the resilience to break free from those limiting patterns and create a life that feels truly aligned with your soul's purpose.
So keep believing in yourself, keep taking those small steps forward, and never give up on your dreams.
Yes.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey. There is a whole community of people out there who are cheering you on.
Yeah, we're all in this together. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep shining bright.
Thanks for joining us.